It's Rabindranath Tagore, but I will give you the prize for trying twice. Yeah. Here you go. Well, good afternoon, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us at this event titled How to Mobilize Your Faith Community Towards Land Restoration. My name is Georgina Bwango, and I'm the Finance Officer for the G20 Global Land Initiative, UNCCD. I'm delighted to have you all here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. As you know, we're here in collaboration with UNEP, we're organizing this dialogue, if you allow me to quote, the Global Faith Leaders Interfaith Statement for COP28. We're here to express our shared concern for the escalating climate impacts on our planet, as well as our common commitment to jointly address this global crisis. In addition, the G20 Global Land Initiative ambition is to reduce land degradation by 50% by 2040. And we need all your help to achieve this. So I'm honored to have you all here. I'm also honored to have our distinguished speakers, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, founder of The Art of Living, Maureen Goodman, the program director of Brahma Kumaris UK, Yukiko Yamada Moravik, technical director of Environmental Sustainability and Climate Action Vision International, and Muhammad Zubair, chief executive officer, Al-Hada, Islamic Banking and Economics. Thank you. I'm honored to have you all here. So if I could start with you, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. In light of what the Art of Living is doing, as far as land restoration and environmental governance is concerned, how can individuals and communities take practical steps to integrate environmental stewardship in their faith practices?
Yes, thank you for having me on this panel, and I'm so pleased to be part of this discussion today. I'd like to share what we started as a small NGO in India way back in 1981, and how we in these 42 years went to inspire. And there is a small video, if you would like to play just for 2 minutes. Is this the one for the video?
Yes, could we play the video now?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me start with the video.
दिन पूरा हमारा पानी में जाता है, यहाँ से वहाँ से लाने का. ये बोर को नहीं मिला, दूसरे बोर को जाने का, दूसरे बोर को नहीं मिला, दूसरे बोर को जाने का.
5-6 बरस हमारे को पास बरसात नहीं थी. बरसात नहीं होने के वास्ते हमारे लोग खेती करने वाले गांव छोड़ को जाने लगे थे.
This is the desilting we did for many river beds, which were just, there was no water and there was no, the whole area was drought hit, and hundreds and thousands of farmers were committing suicide. So we motivated them and then brought them all together to see how, with a public-private partnership, we can rejuvenate rivers. So in just matter of few days, we could see that there was water, which was earlier brought by trains and trucks for drinking water for people. Now there's plenty of water like this. We rejuvenated 75 rivers in India. It just costed just one, 1/100th of what the government would have spent, because people came together to give what we call Shramdan, or voluntary service. So Now the farmers are happy, they water, they could do agriculture. It has impacted 19,800 villages and a population of nearly, 3 million farmers were trained in natural and organic farming in these few days, few years. And so once the water problem is solved, then, many other issues, people can focus on. Here also, organic or natural farming is something that we have been training. See, this is the river which is now perennially it flows. Usually it used to be a rainy season, monsoon, it will have some water, but we did recharge wells everywhere. And the recharge wells could bring the groundwater level higher. So, so that is something that I think we can all do in Africa and start this in many other continents and communities. For this, we need people to participate. And for people to participate, the government had tried and failed, but NGOs and faith-based organizations have success stories to talk about it today. And this is what I would say. To rejuvenate each one of these rivers, the government estimation was huge. Now, all that we did was just brought them the cranes and bulldozers and, the JCB machines to desilt the riverbed, rejuvenate the water resources there. Another important thing is to plant the trees which are rain friendly and environment friendly. Few years back, with the green revolution taking place in India, what they did is they just brought trees from Australia, the acacia trees, and planted it everywhere on the river, sources of river. This acacia, usually what it does is, you all know, it just sucks the groundwater and no bird seeds, no grass grows under the acacia tree, and it was a disaster. So we made an effort to educate people to replace these trees with those plants, with those trees which are indigenous, which grow in that area. This has helped also for rejuvenation of rivers and water bodies. We have done, billions of liters of 12.5 billion liters of water resources have been rejuvenated, re-established in this thousands of water bodies, small ponds in village level. They just keep it as a garbage dump, don't take care of them. When people come and they consider, anyway, this thought has already been there in India, that rivers are sacred, mountains are sacred. This concept I found is very interesting. It's all over the world, in fact. In every aboriginal community, there is this reverence to nature, whether it's Maoris in New Zealand or the tribe, the Native Americans in Canada or in Mexico. There is reverence for nature. But this has to be rekindled. As to say, in India, of course, people have, they have reverence for rivers, water bodies. Unfortunately, that awareness had gone down for the last few decades, resulting in making the ponds as a garbage dump rather than taking it seriously to preserve. Here, how faith-based organization can help in this? This is a perfect example what I'm saying. The faith-based organization can bring from the scriptures and create that common sense in people to say, the 5 elements of nature, the earth, water, fire, air, ether, are sacred and we have to protect them. And people do respond to this call.
Thank you. Thank you for those wise words. If I may have a follow-up question. You're talking about, respecting nature and protecting it. But so I struggle to make that connection to me, living in the city, for example. I could, have a plant in my house, look after it. But do you have any advice for us city dwellers, so to speak, to make our contribution towards the same?
Oh yes, city dwellers at home, inside the house, you can definitely keep some pots and grow some little bit whatever you can. Some cilantro or some carrots, some tomato. You can put a tomato plant. You'll grow some tomatoes at home. That children feel very proud to do something. I always think that we must include horticulture as part of our education. In schools and colleges, usually it is not emphasized much. You only see them as pictures in the books, but no ground level experience, practical experience. In our schools, we run many schools, we have made this also as part of their routine. Children should do something, cultivate something. So in city level, we can do that one. The second is be judicious in your use of vehicles. Carpooling, or using the bikes and cars, or walk as much as you can. It's healthy for you too, That's the second thing. Third, I would say, we bring lot of food and put it in the refrigerator, and we end up throwing nearly half of them out. This tremendous waste of food is happening in the world today. Billions of tons of food is being wasted. I would say we must be aware of this and not waste too much food. And eat fresh and use organic, and also I would say use plant-based protein, plant-based food. That is more, environmental friendly.
Thank you. If I may move to you, Yukiko, now. We know why restoration is important. We know why protecting the environment is important. We have climate change, resilience, and adaptation, and all these benefits. My question to you is, how do we encourage faith communities to participate in this?
Thank you for that excellent question. And so I come from World Vision International. It's a Christian-based, community-based development organization, especially for children. So we got lots of amazing practices, but as you said, it's very much based on the common sense. People respect the faith leaders. Especially during the COVID pandemic, we discovered that people tend to have listened to the faith leaders much more than government authorities coming to tell you what to do. So in our restoration approach called Regreening Communities, we have a very simple practice called farmer-managed natural regeneration. It's a regeneration practice of the indigenous shrub. Instead of planting the trees, again, we try to analyze what kind of indigenous shrubs are there, and we prune. It's a very simple technique. And farmer-to-farmer organic spread that we've identified in different parts of the world, in West Africa, East Africa. What we saw was that involving the faith leaders at the very fast phase of project development, it literally, the potential is much greater, and it really reach out to the far-flung areas of the communities. And people understand that the thriving environment is critical for children and for your own spiritual wealth, but as well as the sort of restoration initiatives led by the government and international communities. And what I see this added value of the faith community is that there's hope and emotion and passion involved. It's not just the dry, scientific. Very often, scientific community from climate change may use very technical jargons and put people off. But faith leaders speak to the heart of the community members, and they can really link the regeneration activities that we do. It's not just for your environmental, social, economic benefits, not just the utilitarian use of natural resources, but for your own spiritual linkage to the care for creation. So that's how we saw how amazing the practice that we've seen, including the faith community members.
Thank you, Yukiko. Thank you, Yukiko. If I may have a follow-up question for you as well. What do you do on your personal journey to, link this nature and sustainability?
It's a rediscovery. Also, the beauty of interfaith aspect. So I'm coming from Christian community faith, but I was brought up in Japan in the Buddhist environment. And I see the golden rule of respect, the reverence of nature that it was talking about, the harmony in Buddhist community, but also Christian identity of care for creation. And I see the sort of truth that across different faith communities. And I love to sort of live in a coherent way in looking after the nature, but also exploring how I can connect to nature in our daily life as well. So that will be my own personal journey.
Thank you. Mohammed, if I may come to you next. Yes, my question to you is, what does Islam say about land restoration, environmental stewardship, and how can we use this and the power of collaboration between faiths? Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me in this. Okay. Thank you very much for having me in this important session. My name is Muhammad, and I am working for Al Huda Center for Islamic Banking and Economics. Basically, we provide advisory, consulting, and the product development for Islamic agriculture or Islamic microfinance to design the product, such product which are enabling for the environment and as well as providing some financial facilities to the Muslim peoples for agriculture sector. One of the major issue in the restoration of the land in Muslim segment is the finance. Because in Islam, the interest is prohibited. And therefore, the Muslim people do not have the access of Sharia compliant fund for agriculture or land restoration. So we are designing such product for the Muslim communities in Africa, in Asia, Europe, and other part of the world. As per concern about that, what Islam says about the land restoration, being the Muslim, we believe that this world is created by God. And we are here as a protector. The protector for the environment, protector for the climate, as well as for the land restoration. In Islam, we have a different concept for the land restoration. In Quran, which is the holy book of Muslims, and in the Sunnah, which is the guidance of our holy prophet, we have a lot of references for the land restorations. We have some unique products in Islam, like we have one product which is called Muzara, that if a person have a land, the barren land, but that person do not have a resources to cultivate that land, then the other person who will cultivate that land, they have to share the crop. That is called Muzara, which is very much famous in the Muslim world, including in Pakistan. Then we have Musaka. Musaka means the irrigation. A person have a rain, other person have a irrigation resources. They irrigate that rain to restore that rain. Then they have a share in the crops as well. And then we have Mughalsa for the orchard financing or for orchard cultivation. So those products are being utilized in the Muslim communities for the restoration of land and etc. Even in Islamic finance, as I mentioned before, that in Islam, interest is prohibited. By the way, interest is prohibited in all the religions. But in Islam, we have very strict verdict against interest. Therefore, Muslim people do not want to involve in interest-based banking and finance, and they have a very limited resources for agriculture and restoration of the land. But in Islamic finance, we have a certain product. We have one product which is called Salam, in which the Islamic bank give 100% payment in advance to the farmer to restore their land and cultivate their land. And whatever they will produce, they will share that crop to the Islamic banks. So those products are very much good and implemented in Nigeria, in Sudan, in Pakistan, in Egypt, in more than 50 countries. So we are trying to introduce such products which will help out to the Islamic agriculture finance and the restoration of the land.
Thank you. Very good projects from the sound of things. If I could come to you, Maureen. As people of hope and faith, we unite in divine wisdom, and we're guided by an unwavering commitment to a sustainable future. My question is, to what extent do you agree with this statement?
Thank you. Thank you very much for the question and for inviting us all here. I agree completely with the statement because I do feel that God loves the whole of creation, not just human beings, but the whole of creation, every creature and every particle of matter. And so it really is our duty before God to then protect and care for matter, for nature. And when we're working with the land, it's very important that we work not only with our hands, but also with our heart. Because when we do anything with our heart, with inner feelings, with wisdom, then whatever we do actually becomes sustainable. Otherwise, we can perform actions, we can do things, but they're too often short-term because the heart isn't in it. And so this is where I feel faith communities have a very, very major role to play in inspiring people in this way. There's a couple of projects I'd like to mention, actually, that the Brahma Kumaris are involved in. And the first is, and these are projects for land restoration. And the first is a project called Kalpa Taru, which is actually a tree planting project. And it has the slogan, "One person, one plant, one planet." And in the past year, over 1 million trees have been planted in this way. And of course, technology is very important. So if you register your plant on an app, you then get information as to how to nurture the plant. And of course, it's very much connected with, plants and different trees are also symbolic of different spiritual virtues. And so also within our original state of being, the soul itself has many virtues. So it's connecting the spirituality of the individual with the spirituality of nature. And so then so as part of that project also, there's a concept called Arogyuvan. I hope I'm saying it correctly. Guruji would correct me. And this is to do with forests that heal. And this is the planting of native species which have medicinal properties, herbal plants, fruit trees, native trees. And we have about 6 of these areas so far that we have created in India. And of course, it's an ongoing project. And some have sacred space dedicated for people to come and do their sacred rituals. Some have rainwater reservoirs, places for walking and jogging and so on. And another project that is very important is Sustainable Yogic Agriculture. And we've been quite pioneers in this. And in this project, the farmers are shown how to meditate at each stage of the crop development. And the results have been quite amazing. And of course, it creates a better frame of mind for the farmers. As Guruji said, many farmers have been committing suicide because of because of the degradation of the land, because of what we've done to the land, and they can no longer grow what is needed. But this is organic farming. This is farming that brings in the spirituality and the vibrations of what is coming from within into the land. And the results have been quite remarkable. So there's improved percentage of seed germination, enhanced soil microbiological activity, higher oil content in groundnut, less pest damage, increased nutritional values, enhanced phosphorus content in the soil, and increased nutritional value in the vegetables. And also some of the vegetables have grown very large, but they are still even more nutritious. And so all of these help to sustain the land, but the key aspect is of the connection of the human being mentally, emotionally, spiritually with the land and the work that they're doing. So these are the projects we're involved in. Thank you.
If I could have a follow-up question for you, what do you do in your personal journey?
In my personal journey, well, anyone who knows me at home knows that I love plants. And so my room has lots of plants, my office has lots of plants, and I do talk to them. I do give them a lot of love, and they grow very well. I also follow very strictly a plant-based diet, because I think if there's a commitment to restoring our earth and create a flourishing earth and to reduce carbon emissions, then a plant-based diet is very essential. And whenever I can, I enjoy being in nature, but essentially I feel it's our simple lifestyle that can really contribute to the restoration of our earth. Thank you.
For our viewers online, we do have a QR code. If we could just go to the next slide, please. If the technicians can hear me. But we would like you to give us your input. If you have any questions, we can read them out to the speakers. Before I open up to Q&A for the audience, I would like to ask Mohammed the same question. What do you do in your personal journey?
Actually, we are designing Islamic financial product, which are environmental friendly, and as well as I am working for Islamic carbon credit. We are trying to have a Sharia compliant stock market for the trading of the carbon credit. And at the financing side, the product which we have designed, those products are implemented in different Islamic banks. By the way, Islamic banking and finance is a very growing market. Right now, the total volume of Islamic finance is about $4 trillion, and we have 5,000 Islamic financial institutions in 120 countries. So we design different Islamic financial products which are working for Islamic agriculture finance to give the financing for environment-friendly projects and etc. So we are designing some risk-based insurance product related to Islamic finance that is called Takaful, who are providing the risk mitigation services to the agriculture sector.
Okay. Yeah. What do you do at home?
Sorry?
What do you do at home?
In my home, yes, I'm the father of one daughter. Most of the time, I spend time with her. But most of the time, I have different projects in different part of the world. And I have been traveled about 86 countries for Islamic finance. So 40% of my time with my family, with my wife and daughter, and rest to design Islamic financial product.
Okay, very busy at work then. Yeah. Okay. Gurudev, I'm not sure I asked you this question, so if I could ask you as well. Yeah.
Well, my life is for the people of the world. So I keep traveling most of the time. And also, you know, today, the biggest challenge the world is facing is mental health crisis. 1 in every 4 persons, sometimes 3 persons are suffering from mental illnesses. So when a person is depressed, they don't even take care of themselves. Forget about they taking care of the planet. They are not environmentally conscious at all. Every 30 seconds, one person is committing suicide. So we are working in helping mental health issues, teaching them breathing techniques, some yoga, wellness programs around the world. That has helped people to become free from stress. Once you're free from stress, you are able to communicate better with people. You become more sensible. You become more sensitive. You see the conflicts in the world today is all a result of being stressed out mind. And so people who are so stressed, so full of tension, their communication is not there, they don't listen to anybody. This is what we do. And I keep meeting people every day, 5,000 to 6,000 people. I meet, give them some solace and talk to them. Also, we are doing on the environmental front, saving the indigenous seeds. You know, there are many unique seed varieties and plants which are not being protected, not being saved. So we are doing a seed bank in which rare and indigenous seeds, for example, I tell you there are about 700 types of rice, paddy that are there on the planet. But when the multinational companies come, they just buy this, they burn those seeds and give them one seed for everybody. So whether wheat or rice or other grains, there are a number of seeds which are almost on the verge of extinction. So we save those seeds and plants. That's something we have started doing. And teaching people on breathing and meditation is my passion. And that's what I keep doing, which has helped people to come out of their stressful state of mind and become more environmentally conscious and active.
Thank you. So I'll open up to the audience now. Any questions from anybody? Don't see any hands. No? Oh, yes. One over here. I think we need a microphone to you. If the technician... Oh, I give you mine, maybe.
Thank you, Georgina. UNCCD says that desertification is prevented by community engagement. So I'd be interested to hear from Gurudev in terms of how people can be more invested. You talked about mental health, but how can people be more invested in taking care of the land?
You know, once they know when they take care of their land, they get better income. It is a big motivating, money is a big motivating factor, I tell you. Now, we all know Sri Lanka overnight wanted to turn the whole country into organic farming, and it miserably failed and caused so much of damage. But the examples of how gradually and sustainably you can turn a land into organic, and how organic farms can make you successful. It can give you 4 times more yield. These examples have to be put in front of the people. Usually, people who are for chemical farming, they take few examples and discourage people going organic. And they say, this is not sustainable. It's all airy-fairy. You know, it can be a big dream, but it cannot be practical. You have to grow more food, otherwise you will go hungry, etc., etc. Here, what we have been doing in Art of Living is bringing those successful farmers who have done organic agriculture and showcase that to the rest of the population and make them feel, yeah, if they could do it, I can also do it. If they are earning 4 lakhs a year, I can also. I don't have to stay at 1 lakh of rupees per 100,000 rupees in a year for me, whereas my friend is doing 4 times more using organic, zero budget farming. How without using pesticides and chemicals, you can really care for the planet Earth and be prosperous also.
Thank you. Thank you, yeah. Any more questions? Well, our people online, if you scan the code, you can send us your questions. Yes, I see a question over there. I'll have to give you my microphone.
Gurji, what is your advice on faith organizations for fundraising for climate? And can they do things together? Because Mohammadji, you spoke about very nice initiatives, and yourself, everybody's doing. Is there a common platform to act together?
Yeah, I think we are already in a common platform. Here we can exchange the ideas, and of course, collaboration would be very good. Different organizations collaborate on projects. For example, I can give you one example. In a city in Maharashtra called Sholapur, the lake was in a very, very bad shape with lots of weeds in it. And we gave a call about 66 organizations, including many faith-based organizations and social organizations. We all joined together, and we could achieve what the government would have planned for 1,000 crores to just about 10 crores of rupees. That's the power of faith-based organizations. When they all come together, they can turn the table around. Yeah, you want to say something?
By the way, in Islam, we have a very good interfaith harmony. Islam says, Mufazzal Deen, I mean, Islam says that my religion cannot be completed. I mean, being the Muslim, I cannot be completed until unless I have a belief on other prophets and the books. So in Islam, we have interfaith harmony for financial product as well. In Muslim world, we have some endowment funds for the environment, for the climate, for the restoration of the land. Some organization like Islamic Relief in Africa, a couple of organizations in Egypt and Jordan. We have one organization in Jordan who is working with Jews and Muslims for the restoration of the land through different religious principles and etc. So as per concern about Islam, we have one concept of waqf as well, that how to utilize that endowment money for the land restoration, for the agriculture, and etc. And we are also utilizing the similar product with the non-Muslim community as well. Because when we talk about Islamic finance, as per your question, Islamic finance or endowment fund or Islamic finance is a system, not a religion. It can be utilized or operated by Muslim and non-Muslims. But for Muslims, they have an extra advantage that it is according to their religious belief. But for non-Muslim, that is a very good funding opportunities for agriculture, for environment, and etc. For example, I have Samsung mobile. In this Samsung mobile, that is the Android system which is made by non-Muslim, and I'm the Muslim, I'm utilizer of that system which is made by non-Muslim. Either that affect to my religion? No. I'm the utilizer of the system. Similarly, whatever Islamic or Sharia compliant fund we do have, if it is utilized by any other religion, it will not affect to their religions. So we have a different fund, different endowment fund, different work fund, which is utilizing beyond the religion for agriculture development, for the environment-friendly activity, and for climate-friendly activities. Thank you.
Thank you. I've got so many questions now. We're wrapping up. We have maybe 10 minutes left. So if I could take one, if that's all right. I'll take. Oh, I should take yours, right? Sorry, so we'll take the two, you and then you. If you could just keep it within the 10 minutes.
Thank you for this session. My name is Aya Usui. I'm doing climate coaching and also I practice Raja Yoga meditation. And today I'm very happy to see the Japanese woman here to see in the COP meeting. And even though Japan is very advanced country, but still the land is very destroyed with pesticides a lot. Do you have any, Yamada-san and Maureen, as a being a woman, do you have any message to Japanese women who can maybe, how they can contribute to the land restoration?
Another question. Can I answer or shall we wait for another question?
You can go.
Yeah. So we are working with the Japanese government as well because they are very much interested in giving natural resource management very technical inputs. And as you mentioned, this gender empowerment or behavior change, how we can make sure that women take active role in this, and women take a big role in care of natural environment. So I'd love to encourage that not to be taken aback by the technical aspects of natural resource management, but really work closely. I really like the previous session talking about the joint work, not to work in silos of faith communities, scientific, technical communities, but really work together and starting from very small step, hydroponic kitchen gardens in urban areas or rural areas of using organic farming, regenerative agriculture. I think there are lots of indigenous practices that are a gem, maybe known only in their own community, but we have to amplify their practices together. So that would be my advice. Thank you so much for the question.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
and
you.
Just, oh yes, please go ahead.
Yes, just briefly to say that empowering the community is the best way of community engagement, and empowering women really encourages the engagement of the whole family. And our organization is headed by women, and the founder was very clear that this had to be the system. He passed on in 1969. And because women are mothers, women are nurturers, they naturally bring that to everything that they do, and they have a natural tendency to care for the earth rather than to exploit. And so the role of women is absolutely crucial, and it actually needs to be highlighted even more, I feel. And I just wanted to add something about personal practice or practice for all of us. One of our senior elder women used to teach us, are you giving something to nature? Are your pure thoughts, your good feelings, your deep respect for nature, are you giving those vibrations to the environment? Because there's such a deep connection between the consciousness and the external environment. And the violence that is in human beings today is being reflected in nature. So it's so important that we turn that around and have that practice too. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. So just as we wrap up, I'll ask each of the speakers in 1 or 2 words what land means to you. Yukiko, if you could go first.
I think going back to Mother Nature.
Great, thank you. Maureen?
Land means life.
Thank you.
I think I endorse what they both have said. Land is life. Yeah.
Thank you.
Land is from God, and we are the protector.
Thank you. So yes, thank you everybody for your time. We've talked a lot about our individual efforts and our collective efforts as far as land restoration is concerned. As we close, I'd like us to take a moment to reflect, pause. I will read out a quote, another quote, they're my favorite thing, from our Secretary General, Antonio Guterres. We need the moral voice and spiritual authority of faith leaders globally to summon the conscience of world leaders, awaken their ambition, and inspire them to do what is needed at COP28 to save our one and only home. So we'll just take a moment of silence and reflect. Pray for all the efforts as far as land restoration is concerned, as far as environmental sustainability is concerned. Thank you for that moment. Thank you, everybody, for gracing us with your presence and your time. Take care.